Good morning, I'm Jasmine and this is Foxy, and this is Blue Healer Bookshelves. So for today's video, I'm going to give you a TBR Cart Tour, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the tiers, hi honey, and everything that's on them, and kind of give a little information on where I got the book, or when I got the book, or if it was gifted to me. So yeah, we're just gonna go through it all and have a little fun with it. Foxy clearly needs some attention. So I got this cart from Michael's. It is currently decorated in stickers that I had on my shop. I had an Etsy a little bit before Christmas, and I did the custom mini book ornaments, which was really fun, and I will definitely be doing it again soon. I just needed a little break, so the shop is currently on vacation mode. But anyways, that's where the stickers came from. The ones on this top shelf are Divine Rivals themed that I created from quotes or something that stood out to me from the book. And then I did make 2 Thanksgiving stickers, so those are down here on this one. So on the top shelf, I have an Atlas of World War II, and I have a Queen Elizabeth magazine. I love National Geographic and I love Queen Elizabeth, so these are kind of fun to page through every now and then when I just need something a little different and not so thick like a standard book. Also on here is my bookmark and annotating jar. So this was made to me by a friend for Valentine's Day one year. Her name is Molly Watt. I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but I will link her website in the description. I have annotating supplies. I have bookmarks made by my friend Alyssa. I will link her Etsy in the description. My friend Brittany made these, as well as these. She's made a lot of them for me. These 2 are made by Jill's Bookish Biz Co. I will link her as well. My friend Allie made me this cute little ghost bookmark for my birthday last year. And then the rest of these are just like random bookmarks that came from bookstores or came in a book, or I got them at a book signing so I could pick up the author's books down the line. And then this one says, "It is what it is." And I made this one. Once upon a time, I made all my own bookmarks. These are little scraps of paper from YouTube videos that I've watched that contain books I want to read. So I still have yet to add those to my wish list. This is a card from a friend from my book club. This is a bunch of stickers that are bookish related that I send to friends and whatnot. These 2 bookmarks my friend Amelia made. She crocheted them and I think they are just darling. They're little flowers. That's a card from a friend as well. And then this is one of those corner bookmarks that my sister gave me for Christmas. So now for the books on the top shelf, I have a few novellas. Most of my hardcovers are up here because they are taller and they just don't fit quite well down here. So I have Nothing But Blackened Teeth by Cassandra Shaw. I have Eric LaRocca, Things Have Gotten Worse Since We Last Spoke. And Julia Armfeld's Our Wives Under the Sea. This one I am saving for my trip down to Florida in a couple of weeks because I asked for recommendations about ocean horror or horror books set on the sea or down in Florida. So this one is an ocean horror, literary horror novella that I am super excited to dig into on vacation. I have Rachel Harrison's Black Sheep. I have Mayfly by CJ Lead. So my friend Alyssa, who made these bookmarks, read this book and recommended it to me. These are gonna come down and these will go back. I have the first book of the Stephen Graham Jones trilogy, which I actually don't know what the trilogy is called, but this is My Heart is a Chainsaw. I did start this book and I think I was not in the right mind space or like headspace for it. I got maybe, I don't know, 50, 60 pages in when I put it down, and I put it on my TBR cart because I do want to come back to it because I didn't dislike it. I think I just, like I said, wasn't in the right headspace for it. So 4 more novellas here. I have House of Hunger by Alexis Henderson, Wild Spaces by S.L. Coney, Catherine M. Valente's Comfort Me with Apples, and I have Tender is the Flesh by Augustina, that's a mouthful, Bazterrica. I'm horrible with name pronunciations, and when I say authors' names on my Instagram stories, I have people DM me and be like, it's this, and I'm like, thank you. I am horrible with name pronunciations, and I feel bad about that. So any help on the corrections is great. Then I have The Taken Ones by Jess Lowry. I am a huge Jess Lowry stan. She is one of my auto-buy authors. I got 106 pages in, and I put it down because I think when I had picked this up, I was in a thriller slump. So I didn't want to pick up any more thrillers and continue to like put myself deeper and deeper into a thriller slump. So then I started picking up more fantasy and literary horror novels, and I've pulled myself out of the slump. So I will be coming back to this one very, very soon. I have Stephen King's Billy Summers, which is a thick book, not quite thick like his books from like the 90s. I read Later, which is his short story, really liked it, but his books intimidate me. I am a little nervous to read them, so this one and a few others are sitting on my shelf, and I have not picked any of them up yet, but this one I am really intrigued about. I have Blacktop Wasteland by S.A. Cosby. He is another auto-buy author for me. This was kindly gifted to me by my friend Lisa on Instagram. She did a giveaway and I won, and so she picked this out from my local bookstore actually, and then they mailed it to me, which was really awesome of her to do that. Then I have The Good Sister by Sally Hepworth. I would love to read this before April because I will be attending a Sally Hepworth book signing. So she is coming all the way from Australia to the United States for a book tour for her new release called Darling Girls, or Darling Girls. So she is coming here and I'm super excited. So I will be going to her book signing. I will probably bring this with, as well as get Darling Girls signed. And I do believe I have The Soulmate as well, which I read last year on NetGalley. Ate that shit up. The next two I acquired from an author event that was, again, hosted by my local bookstore. The first one is The Surrogate by Toni Helene. This one is I'll just read like the little snippet here. A probing novel about a newly married couple, the surrogate they hired to carry their baby, and the unexpected consequences of their decisions. So that one sounded really intriguing, a domestic thriller. Then Daniel Hornsby was also at the book signing. He currently lives in Minneapolis, which I had no idea of, and so I grabbed his novel Sucker. as well as The Surrogate. Daniel Hornsby did sign this, which is really cool. Readjusting. I have Sherry Lapina's An Unwanted Guest. I have not read any Sherry Lapina yet. I have a couple of her novels on my bookshelf. This one was gifted to me as not a Secret Santa, but like a book swap exchange where we didn't see the cover and we gave an elevator pitch, and then you could grab a book if it sounded interesting to you during my book club's Christmas party that I hosted here at the house. So I got this one, and it is winter vibes, and I wanted it to be read this winter, but we didn't have any snow until last week, and it is mid-February, so I didn't quite feel like reading a book set in the winter when we didn't have any snow. It just felt wrong. Then the last one on the top shelf is I Have Some Questions for You by Rebecca Mackey, I want to say is how you say her name. And this one was gifted from my friend Elizabeth in a fall book exchange swap, so it's been sitting on my cart ever since then. Oh, I just realized she left a note in here that says enjoy. She picked this up from her local bookshop, which I loved. So there's 2 bookmarks in there, and then this beautiful sticker, which will go on my TBR cart probably. So that is the top shelf, and now we're gonna go to the middle and the bottom shelf next. Okay, on to the second shelf. These 2 I also acquired at author book signings. So we have Shelley Reed's Go as a River, For Jasmine, Lovely to Meet You, which I always love when they include an extra little note. We had a good conversation about the mountains and rivers when I met her. And Bonnie Garmis did blurb the cover, and it says completely unforgettable. I did just borrow this to my mom, and she said she loved it. So I am super excited to read this. It is set, I want to say, in Colorado, but I will be taking this with me when I go to Montana this summer because I obviously love the rivers, I love the mountains, and so this will be a good read for then. I have True North by Andrew Graff. This also came from an author signing, and I absolutely love his signature. You can see that. He drew a tree, a little, I don't know if that's a tent or if that's just, you know, part of his initials, AJG, and then he drew a little river, because this book is about whitewater rafting. We had a good conversation as well, because in the summers he works as a whitewater rafting guide, and I used to work for a whitewater rafting resort, and we did that in the same town. So I thought that was really awesome. I have The Maidens by Alex Michaelides. I just attended his author event as well, where he was discussing The Fury, and so I also have that, which is signed to me as well, but that is not on the TBR cart. As you can see, there is not much room left, so it is elsewhere in the library. Oops. I have A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. This has the tattered pages, which I don't love, so I don't normally pick books with tattered pages, but I really liked the synopsis of this book, so I did grab it anyways. Then I have Playground for the Devil by Dennis Lacombe. Dennis is my uncle, so when I saw this at a local thriller bookstore in Minneapolis, I could not resist grabbing it. I have not read any of my uncle's novels, and he also is a playwright. I've not seen his play, I've not read his novels, so when I saw this, I immediately grabbed it. This was back in October maybe, and I still haven't read it yet, but it is on the TBR cart, so it is a priority. See what I mean about tall books? They just don't fit in quite well. This is I Love You, But I've Chosen Darkest by Claire V. Watkins. This was a gift from my friend Jen. This is a literary fiction book. It kind of reminds me of Death Valley, if you've read that one. Well, the synopsis reminds me of Death Valley anyways. So I thought the cover was beautiful. I'm really excited to dig into this one. I am very guilty about judging books by their covers. This is another Daniel Hornsby book, Via Negativa. This is about a retired pastor who goes on a road trip as kind of a way to find himself after he has retired from the church. I have The Search Party by Hannah Richel. Again, I purely bought this because of the thriller vibes and the cover. This book my stepmom borrowed to me, Matt Haig's The Midnight Library. She really enjoyed this book. A couple girls in my book club have read this and enjoyed it as well. This is an ARC called Your Dark Secrets by Elle Marr. This will be released on July of 2024. I did not read the synopsis, but this book came from my local bookstore. If you are a bookstore member, you get a free ARC with every purchase. So they have a whole shelf of ARCs that you can pick from. And I've got a couple more of those, not on the TBR cart, but on my shelf that I have acquired from them. I have The Last Housewife, which is a 12 books from 12 friends recommendation. My friend Alicia recommended this to me. This is by Ashley Winstead. For book club, we had read Midnight is the Darkest Hour. I feel like with Midnight is the Darkest Hour, that's a book you either love or hate. Luckily, our book club fell on the we really liked it, loved it spectrum over the disliking it spectrum, end of the spectrum. So I'm excited to read this one. I also would like to read her dark academia thriller. I don't remember what it's called, but anyways, I have this to read this year for my 12 books from 12 friends. Then I have Murder on the Red River by Marcy Rendon. I bought this book because I wanted to expand my reading, or the authors that I read from, I should say. I want to read more BIPOC authors. A lot of the authors on my shelves are white, and I think it's really important to support BIPOC authors. And my friend Lisa read this and recommended it to me. This book I got because I went to an author event and I thought it sounded great. It's The Death of Us by Lori Rader Day. She is a local author to me, based out of the Twin Cities. The Graveyard of Lost Children by Katrina Monroe I grabbed because I was going to go to her author event, and I don't know if it got canceled or if I wasn't able to make it, but I did grab this one. My friend Amelia read it, and I want to say she liked it, so that gives me hope because we have pretty similar tastes in books. Then I've got Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. This was another 12 books from 12 friends recommendations. I had already had this one, luckily. I think I got it from Half Price Books. It is used, so that's where most of my used books come from. So I want to say this was recommended by my friend Britt. I have Murder at the Mena House, which is by Erica Ruth Neubauer. This is part of a series called The Jane Winderly Mystery, and these are all books about, they're mystery novels set in places that the author has traveled to, which I thought was really cool. She had done a lot of traveling So she decided to base all these books on all the places she has gotten to see overseas. I have And There He Kept Her by Josh Moling. This was purchased along with Graveyard of Lost Children. They were going to be at a book signing together. And again, I wasn't able to make it to that book signing, but I had purchased the books ahead of time anyways in case I was able to make it. And I'm still going to read both of these. So this stack of 3 books was sitting on the back side of the second shelf. The first one was recommended to me by my friend Cassie for the 12 Books from 12 Friends. It is The Haunting of Maddie Clare by Simone St. James. The next book is Leviathan Wakes by James S.A. Corey. This was recommended by Taylor and Cassie and I will be buddy reading this when I get back from Florida. This is a thick book, you guys. Huge book. It is about 550 pages. And it's also a series. I want to say there's 9 or 10 books in the series. And then it is also a Prime series on Amazon Prime. I grabbed Mexican Gothic by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. This is from Half Price Books. I've been seeing this everywhere. Sylvia's a BIPOC author, so seeing it at Half Price Books, seeing it all over Bookstagram, and seeing it that it was a BIPOC author was an auto buy for me. The next stack of books I'm going to go through was tucked in the corner between my chair and the TBR cart because obviously there's not enough room on this cart for any more books. So that's where these came from. I have Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant. This was recommended by my friend Devi. This will also be coming to Florida with me. I think I have probably 5 or 6 books that were recommended there were more than 5 or 6 books recommended. 5 or 6 of the ones that were recommended I did pick up or put on my Kindle to take to Florida with me. I will be gone for 6 days. Will I read 6 books in 6 days? Probably not, but will I try? Absolutely. I have Notes on an Execution by Dania Kukafka, I think is how you say her name. This was recommended to me by my friend Kat. Kat and I have been pen pals for, probably going on 4 years now, and she is a huge reader. We've been friends on Goodreads. We talk books in our letters. She is so fun to talk to, and so when she recommends a book to me, I will be reading it. I grabbed The Hollow Places by T. Kingfisher from my local bookseller. This was a used book. They have a very nice collection of used books there. So I think I paid, $7.50 for this, which is a great deal. I recently read T. Kingfisher's What Moves the Dead, and I was really looking forward to getting the second book of that novella series. However, it came out in hardback first, so I did not purchase it yet. I will be waiting for it to come out on paperback. So 1, that it's cheaper, and 2, that it matches the paperback version of What Moves the Dead. I have Such Sharp Teeth by Rachel Harrison. I do not like this title. It is a tongue twister. I like the title. I don't like that it's a tongue twister. I don't want to say that 5 times fast. Another Stephen Graham Jones book, The Only Good Indians. I grabbed The Sacrifice from Half Price Books. This is by Rin Chapeko. It's about a haunted island, and a Hollywood film crew goes to the island and hires a local guide, and then, shit hits the fan, things start happening. And the Hollywood film crew realizes that the things on the island are not a myth. They are happening in real life. So that is The Sacrifice. I grabbed Allie Hazelwood's new novel, Bride. I have not read a single Allie Hazelwood book. I am not a romance girly. So when I saw that she wrote a fantasy romantasy book. I did grab this. I've been seeing it all over Bookstagram, so I am very intrigued. Not sure how I'm going to feel about it, but I have seen rave reviews, so I do have high hopes. The next one is Belladonna. My friend Meg made a reel about the vibes of this book. Chef's kiss. Made me want to buy it immediately. I have Black Shield Maiden, written by Willow Smith and Jess Hendel. I don't know how to feel about this book. It's a Viking warrior fantasy book, and the synopsis and the fact that it was written by Willow Smith made me pick this up. It's an ARC, by the way. It comes out May 7th, 2024. I was discussing this ARC with a friend, Alyssa, and she was thinking about borrowing it and then realized the reviews on Goodreads portrayed that there was some poor representation in this book about the topics that are happening, so I'm not really sure how to feel about it. I'm almost tempted to bring it back to the bookstore, but I am also intrigued by it, but I also don't want to support something if it's being rated so poorly for bad representation. Please do your own research. If you would like to read it, be my guest. If you don't want to read it, I understand either way. But this is just something that I would think I will wait to read, if I do read it, until more reviews come out and hear more opinions on it. Another used book pickup is The Kind Worth Killing by Peter Swanson. Another book I've been seeing everywhere, and also the author Emma Rio has a new book coming out, but this is If We Were Villains. I grabbed Revival Season from a local library sale. I know nothing about this book. It's by Monica West, but if you can see on the cover, there is a big top tent. I used to live in a town when I was in college that had a big top tent where there was concerts and gatherings, and they did what they called Big Top Idol, which was essentially American Idol for locals. So they did a lot of really cool things. So this book cover felt really nostalgic for me. Next, I have Hooked by Emily McIntyre. I do not read a lot of smutty books or retellings, but this is the February book club pick for the local Twin Cities Romantasy book lovers book club, and my friend Angie had also recently read this and absolutely raved about it, so I'm gonna give it a try. I'm a little nervous, but also very excited about it. The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune is a 12 books by 12 friends recommended by my friend Alyssa. Again, the Alyssa who made these bookmarks. Oops. Blooper reel. I have Her Majesty's Royal Coven, another tongue twister, by Juno Dawson. I saw Books and Lala read this. I don't remember what she rated it. I want to say it was a 3-star, but I'm not 100% sure. And I picked it up anyways because the way she talked about it, I really loved the premise of it. And I also am obsessed with this cover. The next book I grabbed from Half Price Books is The God of Endings by Jacqueline Holland. This was my friend Summers, who's on YouTube as Seasons Readings. This was one of her favorite books from 2023, so if Summer talks about it, I'm going to read it. So that's The God of Endings. And that concludes the floor books. And then also on the second tier of the TBR cart, I have a candle from Booklore Candle Co., which is run by my friend Cassie. This one's Cozy Coffee Shop. The scent is, or the notes are coffee, caramel, vanilla, and teakwood. And it seriously smells like you are walking into a coffee roastery. It's stunning. The next candle I have is made by the Domshire, It was specifically crafted for the local coffee shop that is attached to my local bookstore. Seriously, one of my favorite places to go downtown Stillwater. They have a London fog, basically, that they call Earl of the St. Croix, and they add lavender to it. And this smells exactly like the drink tastes. If this wasn't a candle, I would eat this, which sounds really gross, but it is what it is. Re-recording the bottom tier of the cart because I ran out of storage on my phone, so I had to quickly delete a bunch of things. So we're gonna go through the bottom shelf. I have Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. I am super excited to dig into the series, but I have a million other books I need to read before I get into that series. I read Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows at the end of 2023 and was absolutely obsessed, so I did pick up A River Enchanted and A Fire Endless by Rebecca Ross. I think these covers are stunning, and I've heard great things about this series as well. I have Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig. I just finished One Dark Window last night as a buddy read with my friend Elena. Absolutely loved it. If you've read this book, like, are you doing okay? Anyways, super excited to finish this duology with Elena, and then my friend Tiff is joining us as well. Grab a couple more here. I have Shady Hollow by Juno Black. This was from an author event. My friend Ash read this and really loved it, so super excited to read that eventually. And speaking of my friend Ashley, she runs the Twin Cities Literary League book club, and this was a pick. I want to say this is from October or November. So I did not attend this meeting. I have not read this book yet. I would love to read it eventually, but we'll see when I get to it. I'm such a mood reader. On here is Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John Mandel. Another author event book, The Glass Chateau by Stephen Kiernan. Again, tattered pages, don't love them, but the way the author talked about this book was absolutely awe-inspiring, and so I picked this one up from an author event. Well, hi. I just hit you in the face. I'm sorry. I have Episode 13 by Craig DeLuey. I don't know much about this book, but I am intrigued by it because I've heard a lot of people talk about it on Bookstagram. Next is To Kill a Shadow by Catherine Quinn. This has gorgeous sprayed edges, and the back says, "In a world of darkness, become the nightmare." This was recommended by my friend Meg over on Bookstagram. She ordered it off of Amazon simply because of the vibes, and I resonated with that so much, so I did the same thing thanks to her. The last book on here is The Unfortunate Side Effects of Heartbreak and Magic by Brianne Randall. This I also won in a giveaway. I don't exactly remember who, but I want to say it was my friend Chelsea. And the last few things on the bottom shelf of the TBR cart are my book sleeves from Jill's Bookish Biz Co. Her Etsy shop and her Instagram will be linked in the bio. I love these so much. I think I have 5 now, and I've gifted them to friends and family as well. So here's the paperback book sleeve. This was the first one I got from her, so it's like an OG favorite. I have my Ariel one because I'm obsessed with mermaids and The Little Mermaid. And then I have my hardcover sleeve, still has the pocket. Obsessed with the green on the inside. This is like one of my favorite shades of green, if you couldn't tell. And then I picked out a fabric with foxes on it, obviously because this little girl. And then the very last thing on my TBR cart on the bottom shelf is, oh boy, let's see if we can do this, all of the wax melts that I have from Burn While Reading. I'm obsessed with these. I always have them going on in the library. So I'm just going to go through them. This one is a book with red on the cover. It is cinnamon scented. I have Morally Gray, which is patchouli and amber. Dystopian is one of my favorites, and that's musk, seawater, and sandalwood. Comfort Reads is Cozy Almond. This one smells really good too. It smells like amaretto, which makes sense. This one's called The Book You Are in the Middle of, and it's vanilla scented. Smells like fresh vanilla bean. My all-time favorite is Fantasy, which is mossy amber. I've used most of this one for obvious reasons. It's that good. Romance is Pink Sugar, which smells literally exactly like a pink sugar scrub. It's phenomenal. I have 5 Star Feeling, which is citrus and vanilla cake. This smells literally like a lemon pound cake. So good, so fresh scented. Romantasy is Black Raspberry and Vanilla, and I'm currently burning this one with the book Slump Cure, which is book scented. So these two together are amazing. And then the last one I have is High Stakes Fantasy, which is Stormy Weather and Rain. So that wraps up today's TBR Cart Tour. Thanks so much for joining us, and I hope to see you guys next time.